Grimgar of Fantasy and Ash is the greatest isekai ever made. If you ask anime fans what the trashiest, most overdone genre of anime is, most of them will say isekai, and with good reason. From main characters all looking the same, to the exact same town, to the exact same plotline. But I'm an absolute trash goblin for isekai. I watch heaps of it, from smartphone to vampire lolly, to whatever these were because their stories have all blended together in my head. Personally, I love isekai, but I know it's garbage. However, in any genre, there are always standouts or absolute bangers. When thinking about the best isekai ever, many people agree with the Guksu and say Mushoku Tensei. Or perhaps they think Reincarnated as a Slime or Overlord is the best. While these are great isekai and some of my favorites, they can't be considered the best. Mushoku Tensei is brilliant in many ways from story to the animation, and it is considered the grandfather of isekai, but the anime came out too late. The tropes have all gotten old and we've seen them time and time again. Reincarnated as a Slime is also great, but once again, it doesn't innovate. It's still just an isekai, still has the same tropes and story, but the animation and fights are amazing. And for Overlord, well, just look at the CGI. So I'm guessing many of you are angry because I didn't say Mushoku Tensei was the best, but screw you, because Grimgar of Fantasy and Ash triumphs over all other isekai. Grimgar starts with a group of people waking up in a strange place. As they look around the room to their surroundings, nothing looks familiar. As they look at the other people, they realize no one looks familiar either. As they think how they got there or anything about their past, nothing comes to mind. Nothing except their names. The group is pushed into working as trainee volunteer soldiers, and many of them do well and thrive, rising up the ranks and becoming powerful and rich. However, the group that we follow didn't adapt well. They aren't overpowered, some of them don't even get along very well. They are just the leftovers, the people who are weak. Usually in isekai, the main character has their shit together. They automatically understand what needs to be done and how to do it. And the main character is usually special, but this isn't realistic at all. I know, isekai isn't exactly realistic to begin with, but it doesn't make sense that you get transported and know exactly what's going on, what to do, and that there are no consequences. These characters having no memory of their past is such an interesting consequence. Looking around the world, knowing things aren't quite right, like there being a red moon, but having nothing to compare it to and not knowing why it seems wrong. The fact that there was a large group of people transported and not just one person is also more realistic. I know that this has been done before in Arifureta and So I'm a Spider So What, but this was the first one I saw that did this and didn't just focus on a single character, instead focusing on a small group right from the start. And Grimgar aired in 2016, years before these other titles. And in the sea of trashy fantasy and isekai anime, Grimgar stood out because it was different. The story was new, unexpected, and took routes I never thought possible for an anime. This isn't me saying I didn't enjoy any anime from this era. I love Log Horizon, ReZero, and Overlord, but there was always something different about Grimgar. A goblin, which is often seen as the easiest and weakest enemy, is a real challenge in Grimgar, at least for the group that we follow. The group often puts each other and themselves in danger, as some of them get too reckless or buckle under the pressure of fighting to survive. This feels so real and human. I understand being reckless and full of yourself in that situation because you may feel special, like you were chosen to be a part of that new world. But on the flip side, being in a different world and forced to fight would be terrifying. You can feel the emotions of this group, you can see their dynamic play out, and it doesn't feel forced. Despite them not really knowing each other, each of them takes solace in the fact that they are all faced with the same scenario. So their conversations seem normal. I find a lot of times in anime where people are having a normal conversation, it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like how two people would interact, be it the wording or the timing or whatever else. Grimgar uses their group dynamic to elevate itself. It makes you care about each character even if you find them annoying or unrealistic. You can often understand why each character behaves the way they do. The main character of Grimgar is forced to become a leader, and he struggles with it, agonizing over each little mistake, and basically making shit up as he goes along. This guy Ranta has a difficult personality. He is reckless, loud, and mostly just thinks about himself, causing a lot of issues for the group. But this also makes him alone, not being understood by those around him. Moguzo is shy and quiet, making it hard for him to properly use his strength and have his opinion heard by the group. Each character has flaws and issues that make them feel real. Because the people summoned in Grimgar weren't the best of the best of the best. They were just people. So even if it's hard and they struggle, they have to hunt monsters. Because each of them is desperate to survive, to live one more day. This desperation and fear deepens the relationship of the group and making Grimgar so enjoyable. Watching their journey from them hunting one lone goblin to hunting multiple, to them talking shit about each other or eavesdropping or their emotional outbursts. Each character feels so real that when they feel happy, sad, angry, tense, I feel it with them. Grimgar ensures that the people and the world and everything they do feels real. Creatures like goblins that we are used to seeing as enemies, simple mobs that need to be killed, are, well, like this. It's real. They aren't just NPCs that are there for XP and gold, they are alive. These characters have to deal with ending another creature's life and exchange it for their own, making each fight dangerous. Every battle feels tense because you know that one slip up and any of these characters could be dead. Now I've probably talked about the characters and how real they feel a bit too much, so let's move on to the cool shit. The animation of the fights are so dynamic and fluid. Each character fights in a different and unique style, not just because of their weapons, but their body movements are clearly different from each other, which is often lacking in other anime. The backgrounds in Grimgar are some of the coolest shit I've seen in anime. I know you might be thinking that they are just backgrounds, but they are also vibrant and stand out, while somehow not drawing too much attention away from the characters. There are times where it doesn't look so good and can seem lazy, but when showing off terrain or a battlefield, it has so much depth and liveliness that I've never seen it in an anime before. Now if you've seen Grimgar, there are two recognizable things that it is mainly known for. First is the backgrounds, they are stunning. And the second is the huge asses. Usually anime focuses on the upper assets, but god damn, Grimgar cranked that shit all the way up. And I know I'm not the only one that thought that because it was a talked about topic back in the day. Overall, Grimgar will always be my favorite isekai, and hopefully some of you agree. It feels like such a genuine and enthralling journey where characters grow, learn, and become greater. And I for one know that the emotions of the characters captured me. And if you're an isekai trash goblin like me and you haven't seen it, fucking watch it. If you like this video and want to see more, subscribe, I'd appreciate it.